That way, they were almost certain that no one is watching. In the presence of the queen and her cohorts, they will pretend as if nothing had changed, and as Lalia predicted, this kept them both out of the queen's mind and focus, and this was great for the both. Over the years, Princess Helima helped to hide some of Lalia's herbs from the queen's wicked claws of destruction. Years went by and she was none the wiser of the tricks that the princess played to protect Lalia from her schemes. It became more and more difficult for Princess Helima to keep up her act as her friendship with Lalia blossomed. She would always apologize incessantly for how mean she had to pretend to be when people were around. Lalia would always reassure her and remind her of the importance of the reason why their act was necessary in the first place. The girls soon found themselves looking forward to nightfall. They would always count the hours to the moment they could spend time together without need to pretend. They would miss each other terribly during the day and were always eager to meet up and recount the events that transpired during their day. That evening when Helima snuck into Lalia's quarters yet again, she was eager, as usual, to apologize to her. "I couldn't sleep without seeing you. I'm sorry for what I did earlier today," Helima whispered to Lalia. "Not at all. It is okay. It was our decision, remember? And besides, it's for the best," Lalia whispered back. "I have missed you so," Helima excitedly said as she gave her a friendly tap on her back. "I have missed you too. How have you been? I hope you are excited for the ritual dance. You know it's fast approaching." "Ugh, the ritual dance. I cannot wait for it to be over already. I lose sleep over just the thought of it." Lalia could tell that Helima was nervous about the event, and she really wanted it past her as soon as possible. From the sigh she also let out, Lalia realized that she shared the same sentiments. "Well, I'll tell you this for free. You are a legend for just preparing yourself for the ritual dance. You will be saving us all from this long and terrible drought. People everywhere can't stop talking about how brave you are for doing it. I am certain you will be remembered and celebrated for the rest of your life." Lalia tried encouraging her. True. I know all that. But that does nothing to help this sick feeling I have at the pit of my stomach. I don't know why, but I've always had a very bad feeling about this. I have this dreadful feeling that it is not going to end well somehow. To be honest, I really wish I was not chosen to do the dance. I must go to the shrine again in 2 days. I swear the burden that this responsibility comes with grates on my last nerves. Helima ranted. She was relieved that she finally had the opportunity to speak her mind. She was exasperated and tired of all the traditions that she had to perform, especially at the discomfort she experiences sleeping in the shrine alone. "If it is that daunting, how about I come along with you? At least that would starve off the boredom a little bit. I can come along." Lalia volunteered, but upon seeing the incredulous look on Helima's face, she quickly jumped to defend her offer. "Listen, I know I am not supposed to be seen around you and that no one is supposed to be out of their hut on that fateful night, but I will hide so well even the goddess will not be able to see me. That way, I'll be by your side so nothing happens to you. You know I can be stealthy. After all, I am the best female hunter in the kingdom." Lalia was the only female learning how to hunt wild animals then. Hence, she refers to herself as the best female hunter. And seeing how she was willing to offer herself to protect her that night, even though it is forbidden, stirred Princess Helima in ways she couldn't describe. She was against anyone coming out of their quarters that night, as death is what awaits you when caught. Therefore, she disregarded Lalia's statement, but her selfless wish to protect her was not a loss on her. Princess Helima reached out and held Lalia's hand, smiling. "Your selflessness is one of the reasons I like you so much, dear friend." She hugged Lalia so tight that Lalia coughed, gasping for air. "Okay, enough now. Save some of that affection for the future king of Tongu," Lalia teased when Helima finally let go of her. This made Helima gasp. "Yeah, about that. There was something I have been meaning to tell you. You won't believe this. I met him 2 days ago," she whispered excitedly. Lalia could see how happy she was at what had happened. Prince Alan was sent to the royal encampment in disguise as he was still too young to go through the rigorous training that the butlers are subjected to. This is approving of the prince prematurely preparing himself to be the head of the royal army, being fully aware of the constant threat that the kingdom was under from its rivals. The king was eager to get him prepared for battle, so he made sure that his disguise was good enough to prevent him from being caught. Nobody ever recognized him. Only he, his mother, and his father knew who he really was. And now Princess Helima. The king had his son meet her while she stayed at Goddess Helima's shrine the past 2 weeks to help her prepare herself better for the dance. His visits were the highlight of her solitary stay at the shrine. She was used to having servants at her beck and call and servants to keep her company, but when she was at the shrine, she never had anyone to neither serve her nor chat with her. This was why she abhorred the thought of returning to the shrine once more for the latter part of her preparation. Really? Pray tell, what's he like? Is he anything like they say about him? Lalia sat up, keen to hear all about Princess Helima's experience. Yes, indeed, and even more. He looks so manly and very handsome, just like his father but much better looking. Lalia gave her a nudge, teasing her about the bold way she was gushing about the prince's good looks. This brought Helima back to her senses and she quickly covered her mouth, suddenly feeling shy, but she continued. I know I get a lot of attention everywhere I go, but I really feel special whenever he looks at me so attentively with those, oh God, so beautiful eyes. I get the warmest feeling all over my body. My stomach can't stop fluttering. It is as though there were a million little butterflies fluttering away at the pit of my stomach. And by the gods, he is so beautiful that I couldn't look him in the eye. I was only stealing glances at him. Princess Helima continued, shyly covering her face while Lalia listened. She teased Helima, laughing at her as Helima continued to recount her experience with her betrothed. They spent the whole night whispering till dawn when the princess snuck back into her chambers. The water goddess the princess was named after had bestowed a task upon her that she must fulfill when she comes of age on her 15th birthday, to dance from the palace to the goddess's shrine, and this was to happen by sundown. The drought was prophesied a long time ago, but they were reassured by the priestess that once the princess comes of age, they can bring the terrible experience to an end. She said that the princess must dance alone on the night of the sacred dance, and this will bring in the rains. This was preordained since the very day Princess Helima was born. She was the one chosen to bring an end to the long drought that was to befall Tongo and last for 3 years. This was to be the longest drought Tongo would have ever endured. However, once it was over, it would be a long while before a drought like it would ever befall the kingdom again. From the moment she was born, Helima was being trained and prepared for that night. Apart from being chosen to be the future queen of the kingdom, this is another part of her future that was already laid out for her, as is expected of her. She was ready to perform this ritual, and this was another reason for her frequent visits to the palace. She was obligated to fulfill this task delegated to her by the goddess before she can live her life on her own terms. Goddess Helima was believed by the people from all 5 kingdoms to be the goddess of water and the bounty of rain. Princess Helima was to dance from the palace to the goddess's shrine and back. The impending dance had everyone celebrating since the day the princess visited the palace. There was even more grand celebrations from the last time she came back to the palace from her stay at the shrine, and this was to continue until the night before the sacred dance. The rest of the royal family, noblemen and chiefs were all going to come from all over the kingdom to celebrate this with them. The next morning, some of the royal family from the different parts of the kingdom came by. They were the king's younger siblings. They came with their spouses and children, and they were very well received as the celebrations continued. Princess Helima was to return to Goddess Helima's shrine one last time before the fateful night of the dance. The new recruits of the guards were to be introduced on that same night, and as Lalia had promised Nayo, she was able to convince his father to let him join the royal butlers as one of the new recruits. Lalia cheered as Nayo was being called upon to join the recruits. Even though people around her were mostly disgusted by her hideous look, she could care less as she continued to cheer for him, even embarrassing Nayo himself.